Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into something a little different.
Ooh, different how?
Well, we're still in the HVAC world, but this time we're focusing on the business side of things.
So not just how to fix a leaky faucet, but how to build a thriving HVAC company.
Exactly. We've got a stack of articles and even a YouTube video from a successful HVAC pro.
Sounds like we're about to get schooled.
You bet. We're going to tackle those nitty-gritty questions that keep new business owners up at night.
Like, how do I price my services? How do I market my business? How do I actually make a profit?
All that and more. First up, we've got Coach Firm. They lay out 3 major mistakes HVAC business owners make.
Oh, I've heard of these guys. They don't sugarcoat anything.
Nope, they're straight to the point.
Yeah.
And these mistakes, they're not just minor slip-ups. We're talking potentially fatal flaws to your business.
Okay, I'm all ears. Hit me with mistake number 1.
Mistake number 1 is using markup instead of margin.
The classic pricing blunder. I see this all the time.
I'll admit, it took me a while to wrap my head around the difference.
It's a common misconception. People think, okay, I paid $100 for this part. I'll mark it up 50%. That's a $50 profit.
But that's not how it works, is it?
Nope. That 50% is based on the cost of the part, not the selling price.
So if I'm selling that part for $150, my profit isn't actually 50%.
Exactly. Your actual profit margin is only 33% in that scenario.
Whoa, okay, I see where the confusion comes in.
Using markup can make you think you're making more than you actually are.
And that can lead to underpricing your services and shrinking your profits without even realizing it.
Margin is what matters because it shows your profit in relation to your total revenue. Markup is about vanity. Margin is about sanity.
Margin of sanity, I love that.
Yay.
Okay, mistake number 2.
This one's a bit more conceptual. Owners not paying themselves twice.
Paying yourself twice. Now that's an interesting concept.
It's all about recognizing that as the owner, you're wearing 2 hats. You're the employee doing the work and the entrepreneur running the business.
So I should be paying myself a salary for my labor and taking a share of the profits as the owner.
Bingo. It might feel weird at first, but it's crucial for building a sustainable business. You deserve to be compensated for both roles.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like if I were to hire someone else to do the technical work, I'd have to factor in their salary.
Right. If you're not accounting for your own labor costs, you're essentially undercutting yourself.
Okay, got it. 2 down, 1 to go. What's the third big mistake to avoid?
This one's all about time management, or rather, the lack of it.
Time management, the eternal struggle.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, but you need to be strategic about how you spend your time.
So instead of just reacting to whatever comes up, I should be proactive about how I use my time.
Precisely. Remember, as an HVAC business owner, you're not just selling your technical skills, you're selling your time.
Time is money, as they say.
Exactly. If you can be more efficient, you can potentially handle more jobs, boost your revenue, and build a more successful business.
Okay, so we've got the fundamentals down. Margin over markup, pay yourself twice, and treat your time like gold.
Now, even with all that in place, the HVAC world throws some unique curveballs, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. We have an article here from WorkIs that dives into some common HVAC pain points and, more importantly, offers solutions.
Okay, lay it on me. What are these challenges we're talking about?
Well, they talk about juggling multiple platforms, struggling to grow, closing those big deals, and the headache of inventory management.
Ooh, I feel a tension headache coming on just thinking about all that.
Right. It's like one minute you're trying to fix a furnace, the next you're drowning in spreadsheets and invoices.
A recipe for burnout, if you ask me.
Exactly. And that's where WorkIs' solutions come in.
Okay, I'm ready for some relief. What do they suggest?
First and foremost, they emphasize the importance of consolidating all those platforms into one.
Streamlining, I like it. So instead of having a separate app for scheduling, invoicing, and communication, I could have it all in one place.
That's the idea. It eliminates the chaos of switching between a million tabs and allows you to focus on what matters.
Makes sense. What else do they highlight?
They talk a lot about the power of online booking and reviews for growth.
I mean, in today's world, people expect to be able to book appointments online, right? And those online reviews can make or break you.
They say 93% of people read online reviews before making a decision. So yeah, those little stars hold a lot of power.
So it's not just about fixing AC units. It's about creating a smooth, modern experience for your customers.
Exactly. And WorkIs also talks about using tiered pricing proposals for bigger deals.
Ooh, that's interesting. So instead of just giving one flat price, you could offer different options at various price points.
Right. It gives people a sense of choice and makes them more likely to say yes to something.
Smart. Now, what about the dreaded inventory management? Any tips on that?
Work is a big proponent of keeping your inventory digitally updated in real time.
No more scribbling notes on scraps of paper?
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
The idea is to eliminate those last-minute trips to the supply store because you
Wow.
thought you had more of something than you did.
Talk about a time and stress saver. Okay, so we've got the business basics down and we're streamlining operations.
But even with the best systems in place, you still need to get customers in the door.
And that, my friend, brings us to the wonderful world of HVAC marketing.
Ah, yes, marketing. It's a beast of its own, isn't it?
You bet. We've got some great insights from Cornerstone Advertising on this, and let me tell you, they don't hold back.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Bring on the marketing wisdom.
They point out two major mistakes that HVAC businesses often make.
Lay 'em on me.
Mistake number one, going all in on digital marketing. Mistake number two, only marketing during peak season.
It's tempting to just blast ads on social media when it's scorching hot or freezing cold outside, right?
Yeah.
But is that really the best approach?
Not necessarily. It's like trying to cram for a test the night before. It might work in a pinch, but it's not a sustainable strategy for long-term success.
Okay, so what's the alternative? Cornerstone mentions this thing called cost per opportunity. What is that all about?
Cost per opportunity, or CPO, is all about figuring out how much it costs you to generate a lead that has the potential to become a paying customer.
So instead of just looking at likes and clicks, I need to
Yeah.
figure out which marketing channels are actually bringing in paying customers.
Exactly. And that's where tracking and analyzing your marketing efforts becomes crucial.
So less about vanity metrics and more about real results.
You got it. They give this great example comparing a simple postcard campaign to a Valpak mailer.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
Imagine you're sending out a postcard with a tune-up offer.
Straightforward, right to the point.
But let's say you're spending $125 to acquire each customer through that postcard.
That's a decent chunk of change.
It is. And it might not be worth it, especially if that customer only needs a tune-up once a year.
Makes sense. Now, what about the Valpak mailer? How does that compare?
Well, a Valpak mailer goes out to a much wider audience and it has more visuals, so it's not just about generating leads, it's also about building brand awareness.
So you're reaching more people and potentially planting seeds for future business.
Exactly. Because of that broader reach, you might be willing to spend a bit more per lead because you're getting more long-term value.
I'm starting to see why so many HVAC businesses struggle with marketing. It's not as simple as just shouting about your services during the busy months.
It's about having a strategy, understanding your target audience, tracking your results, and figuring out what works for you.
Okay, that makes sense. We've covered the business basics, the operational challenges, and now the marketing maze. I'm ready for some real-world advice.
Well, you're in luck. We've got a YouTube video from Cool Geese Heating and Air, and this guy is crushing it in the HVAC game.
I've heard of Cool Geese. He seems like a straight shooter, no-nonsense kind of guy.
He is, and he's incredibly generous about sharing his knowledge to help others succeed.
I love that. What kind of advice does he offer?
He breaks down his top 3 tips for ranking on Google, which, let's face it, is essential for any business these days.
Okay, hit me with those tips.
Number 1, complete your Google business profile. Number 2, consistently ask for reviews. And number 3, register your business on every free business site you can find.
It's all about creating a strong online presence.
Exactly. And it ties back to what Workis was saying earlier about streamlining and building trust with your customers.
It's like they're singing from the same hymn sheet, but with different melodies.
I like that analogy. And get this, Cool Geese is even using AI for his phone calls.
Whoa! AI for phone calls, that's next level.
It shows he's not afraid to embrace technology and find new ways to make his business more efficient.
Definitely a sign of the times. Okay, before we dive too deep into the world of AI, I want to circle back to Workiz's Top 10 Mistakes article.
Oh yeah, they had some great points in there. What specifically caught your eye?
They reinforce a lot of what we've already talked about, like avoiding relying solely on cash and the importance of marketing.
Solid advice for sure.
But they also put a huge emphasis on having proper insurance.
And for good reason. HVAC work can be risky. If something goes wrong on a job and you're not properly insured, you could be in big trouble.
It's one of those things that's easy to overlook when you're starting out, but it's absolutely essential.
You can't afford to skimp on insurance. It's like playing with fire.
Agreed. And speaking of essential, they also highlight the power of asking for reviews.
We touched on this earlier, but it's worth repeating. Online reviews can make or break your business.
It's social proof. People trust what other people say, especially when it comes to choosing a service provider.
Word of mouth is still the most powerful form of marketing, and online reviews are like digital word of mouth.
I'm convinced. Okay, last but not least, they talk about the power of automation.
Ah, yes, automation. It's like having a virtual assistant who never sleeps.
It can be a game changer for small business owners, especially in the HVAC industry, where you're constantly juggling so many tasks.
Think about automating appointment reminders, review requests, even invoices. It frees up so much time and mental energy.
Less time on tedious admin tasks means more time to focus on growing your business and providing excellent service.
Exactly. And it reduces errors, improves consistency, and ultimately makes your life a lot easier.
All right, we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We have. We talked about the business basics, the operational challenges, the marketing must-dos, and even got some insider tips from cool gins.
But we're not done yet. There's still more to unpack.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of HVAC business success.
We'll be back soon with more insights and actionable advice to help you build a thriving HVAC company.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for round 2 of our HVAC business deep dive.
You bet. Last time we talked about pricing strategies, streamlining operations, and we even got some awesome advice from Cool Gins.
Right, that guy's a legend. But remember that WorkHis article about common HVAC business mistakes?
Yeah, the top 10 mistakes. What about it?
We only scratched the surface. There's more to unpack, especially for someone just starting out.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the rundown.
One mistake that often gets overlooked is neglecting customer service.
Really? I mean, that seems pretty basic, doesn't it?
You'd think so, but you'd be surprised how many HVAC companies drop the ball on this.
I guess when you're busy juggling schedules and repairs, customer service might slip through the cracks.
Exactly. But here's the thing. HVAC systems are essential. People rely on them for comfort and safety.
So when their AC goes out on a scorching summer day, they're not just calling for a technician, they're calling for a lifesaver.
Pretty much. And they're looking for someone they can trust, someone who's reliable, honest, and who can explain things in a way they can understand.
It's like when your car breaks down. You want a mechanic who's not just competent, but also someone you feel good about doing business with.
Exactly. And in the HVAC industry, word of mouth is everything.
Right. People talk to their friends, family, neighbors, especially when they've had a great or terrible experience.
And those online reviews, they can make or break you.
So good customer service is basically free advertising.
You got it. WorkHis even points out that returning customers spend significantly more than new ones.
That's interesting. So even a small increase in customer retention can have a big impact on profits.
Big impact. So what are some practical tips for hitting the customer service mark?
Well, I think communication is key, right? Making it easy for customers to contact you, responding promptly, being professional.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not just fixing a furnace, you're building a relationship.
Right. It's about going the extra mile, following up after a job, sending thank you notes, maybe offering discounts for referrals.
Those little touches can make a big difference. And speaking of relationships, WorkHis also talks about the importance of networking.
Networking, like going to industry events and schmoozing with other HVAC pros.
That's part of it. But it's also about connecting with your peers, sharing knowledge, and even referring work to each other when it makes sense.
I guess it's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. If the HVAC industry as a whole is thriving, everyone benefits.
Exactly. Plus, you never know where you might find mentors, collaborators, or even future business partners.
Makes sense. Now, this next mistake that WorkHis mentions is one I'm definitely guilty of. Ignoring data.
Ah, the data skeptic. A lot of people are like that. They prefer to rely on their gut feeling.
Well, my gut usually serves me pretty well, but I'm starting to realize that data can be incredibly valuable, especially in a business like this.
It's not about abandoning your intuition. It's about using data to inform your decisions and make your gut feelings even stronger.
Okay, I'm willing to learn. What kind of data are we talking about here?
Well, think about tracking your marketing campaigns, analyzing customer demographics, monitoring job costs, even evaluating employee performance.
So instead of just guessing what's working, I can actually see which marketing efforts are bringing in the most customers.
Exactly. And you can identify patterns in your target audience, pinpoint areas where you might be losing money, make more informed decisions overall.
Data-driven decisions. I like it. Now, how do I actually access all this data?
The great thing is, a lot of it is already being collected by your business management software. You just need to learn how to use it effectively.
Okay, that makes sense. Speaking of software, WorkHis is a big fan of automation.
Right. Oh, yeah, they're all about it. And for good reason.
What are some things I could automate in my HVAC business?
Think about scheduling, dispatching, even inventory management. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
So it's about finding the right tools and setting up systems that work for you.
Exactly. Automation can save you so much time and hassle.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual assistant who never sleeps.
I could definitely use one of those. What else from Work's list of mistakes should we highlight?
One that stands out to me is neglecting continuous learning.
Wait, you mean I can't just coast on my existing knowledge?
The HVAC industry is constantly evolving. New technologies, new regulations, new best practices. You got to stay on top of it.
It's like a doctor who stops reading medical journals. They're going to fall behind pretty quickly.
Exactly. And that's where networking comes in handy. Attending industry events, joining online forums, connecting with mentors, it all helps you stay ahead of the curve.
Plus, it keeps things interesting. I'm always up for learning new things. It's what keeps me motivated.
Right. I mean, look at Cool G's from YouTube. He's clearly passionate about his work and always looking for ways to improve.
He even mentioned his website, HVAC Mastery Coaching.com, right?
He did. It's a great reminder that we can all learn from each other's experiences.
This whole conversation is making me realize that the HVAC community is like a giant support network. It's not just about competition. It's about helping each other succeed.
That's a great point. Building a successful HVAC business isn't just about technical skills. It's about embracing the business side, learning from your mistakes, and continuously seeking out new knowledge and connections.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But hey, we're not quite done yet. We still have one more source to explore.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap things up with some actionable advice and a final thought to leave you inspired.
And we're back for the final stretch of our HVAC deep dive. We've tackled business basics, operations, even dove into marketing a bit.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more to learn, right?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to marketing. That's where Cornerstone Advertising comes in.
Oh yeah, they had some strong opinions on what HVAC companies are doing wrong.
They did.
Yes.
One mistake they called out was me marketing.
Me marketing. What's that all about?
It's when you make decisions based on your own preferences instead of what your target audience actually wants.
Makes sense, I guess. Like, I might love watching old Westerns, but that doesn't mean my customers do.
Exactly. They give an example of an owner who insisted on advertising on a specific TV news program just because he liked to watch it.
Even if it wasn't reaching the right people, talk about a waste of money.
It's about understanding your ideal customer, right?
Yeah.
Their demographics, their pain points, where they hang out.
Tailor your marketing to them, not yourself.
Got it. Now, another thing they talked about was planning for the off-season.
Ah, yes, the dreaded off-season. When things slow down and the cash flow dries up.
It's tempting to just ride the wave of demand during the busy months, but that can lead to inconsistency and stress.
Not to mention missed opportunities. Cornerstone suggests focusing on things like preventative maintenance contracts.
Makes sense. Keep the revenue flowing even when it's not scorching hot or freezing cold.
Exactly. Or offer discounts on less popular services, use the downtime for employee training, get creative.
Be proactive, add value year-round. Now, the last mistake they highlighted is about relying solely on existing customers.
I can see how that would be tempting. You've already built a relationship with them. They trust you.
But you also need to be constantly attracting new clients
Okay.
to keep growing and expanding.
That's the key. Cornerstone emphasizes that a large portion of a customer's lifetime value comes in that first year.
So you don't want to miss out on that potential revenue by neglecting new customer acquisition.
Right. It's all about finding that balance between nurturing existing relationships and continually bringing in fresh faces.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From pricing strategies to customer service to the power of automation and beyond.
It can feel overwhelming, for sure. But remember, building a successful HVAC business is a marathon, not a sprint.
It's about taking it one step at a time, learning as you go, and never being afraid to ask for help.
And surrounding yourself with the right people. That's one of the biggest takeaways for me.
Absolutely. Mentors, industry groups, other HVAC professionals, they're all valuable resources.
Like Cool G's, remember, he's a great example of someone who's achieved success but is also incredibly generous about sharing his knowledge.
And he's built a great community around HVACMasteryCoaching.com.
It's inspiring, really. It shows that collaboration and support can go a long way in this industry.
Well said. On that note, I think it's time to wrap up our HVAC business deep dive.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you found this conversation helpful and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
And if you're feeling overwhelmed, remember, you don't have to do this alone. There's a whole community out there ready to support you.
So go out there, build your dream HVAC business, and as Cool Beans would say, stay cool.
Until next time.